Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sweet Talks podcast. My name is Chantal, aka Sweet Talk 777 on Instagram.
Hi, and I'm Rihanna.
And I'm Nikina.
Okay, so today's topic is postnatal depression and postnatal psychosis. And just basically looking at some postnatal issues that quite a lot of women do experience. So something like 1 in 10 women will experience a postnatal issue, such as postnatal depression or postnatal psychosis. So, I don't know who wants to start on this one, but it is a pretty heavy topic.
Do you want to break down postnatal
the definition and stuff,
and psychosis?
Not a problem. So postnatal depression is basically like a common issue that happens with quite a few women after they have children. And usually you'll find that it can happen also in men. You can actually get postnatal depression in men as well.
Come on now.
But we are trying to focus on women because it's Women's Month. Sorry guys, but we'll deal with you in November.
Men's Month.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically it sometimes can be referred to as baby blues as well. And sometimes we usually try and look for diagnoses or symptoms of it about 2 weeks after birth. So it'll be quite consistent with like normal depression, so persistent feelings of low mood, lack of enjoyment and stuff, lack of energy, trouble sleeping. Even if the baby's sleeping, they might find it hard to sleep as well. Difficulty with bonding with the baby, withdrawing from contact with other people, so isolating yourself. Fighting thoughts like hurting the baby or hurting yourself, or depression and stuff like that. So that's mainly depression, postnatal depression. And that can happen, like I said, anything from 2 weeks after having the baby, but it also can still happen a number of months after having a child as well.
Okay. So could you have a baby, then 3 months later feel like you're quite depressed?
It's unusual for that, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's usually straight away after the
It's
accident.
usually
After 2 weeks.
Usually after the 2 weeks we look for it, that it's looked for, but
Okay.
it can be anything from after that 2 weeks. I think they usually stop it for about after a year.
Yeah, I heard
I
that,
think.
or 2.
Yeah, year or 2
year
years.
or 2, yeah.
Because
Okay.
it might just be that it's been missed and then it could
True.
be found like later on in the person. So usually it happens in people as well who probably already have a mental health issue. And it's more common in people that have a mental health issue as well.
Okay.
So that's with postnatal depression. Postnatal psychosis now that is a whole different kind of animal. And unfortunately it does happen to a few people. So some people actually might have the wrong diagnosis of postnatal depression when it's actually postnatal psychosis.
Okay.
But it is some of the similar symptoms, but with postnatal psychosis, someone can experience hallucinations or delusions or like feelings of being really high or euphoric, and then symptoms of the low moods, which is why it sometimes gets confused with postnatal depression.
Okay.
And there's like a really big loss of inhibition, so you become really what's the word I'm looking for?
Like impulsive.
Impulsive, that's the
Very
word.
impulsive,
You become very
yeah.
impulsive. And you get really suspicious and fearful of other people. You might get fearful that people are taking your child or going to do something to your child, or your child's going to hurt you. A whole lot of different stuff. So different people can experience it in different
Just
ways.
to let you know that people who are newly mothers or parents can feel that way anyway. Doesn't mean they have psychosis. It's
Most
just to what the
definitely.
level it is and how, But please talk to people, you know what I mean? That's the main thing that we're saying out there.
Most definitely.
Actually, I did watch a TV show.
Thank you. Yeah.
It wasn't the one that you sent.
Oh.
But
Yes.
I love you.
I did watch a show and I forgot, because when you started talking about it, I remember.
Okay.
I remember because I had never, before that point, I had never heard postnatal psychosis. And I remember watching a TV show, My Baby, Psychosis, and Me. Alright, so I watched that the other day. It was on
a program.
BBC. But it was like, I paused because I couldn't remember when I watched it, but it was a couple weeks, if not a couple months ago, but it was like this year. And it's about this lady who, if I remember correctly, she never had any sort of issues before.
Yeah, and that can happen.
And she had the baby within 2 weeks. She was psychotic.
Yeah.
Psychotic, right word?
Yeah.
And what happened was, right, don't quote me, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Either her husband was driving. They're supposed to go somewhere. I think they're supposed to go to the baby's first checkup after they're born or whatever. And she said to her husband was driving. She said to her husband, "Pull over. I want to drive." And he was like, "All right, cool." So then they stopped over. She then got in the driver's seat and she told herself, "Say bye to the baby.
Wow.
Say bye to your husband." In her mind.
Yeah.
And so apparently, she had already planned this. So apparently, when she was getting the baby ready in the morning, she put the best outfit on the baby, everything to prepare her baby, because she knew she was going to kill him. So she was, everything, know. So as she's driving, she's looking at her husband and she's thinking, "I love you so much. I can't believe I'm going to kill you, but we're going to die together because we need to be happy together. We can't be happy here.
Yeah.
We need to just be together," sort of thing.
Yeah.
I love my baby, but it's hard and whatever. Anyway, she put her foot down put her foot down on the gas and was just nipping it. And obviously her husband's screaming frantically at this moment, like, "What are you doing? Whatever. And luckily, well, I don't believe in luck, but, blessingly, before it was too late, she had a moment of clarity and she was like, "What am I doing? I don't want to die. I don't want to kill my baby. I don't want to kill my husband." And then she eventually began to slow down. And then from that day, he said, "You can't drive again until you go and get some support." So
yeah, definitely.
luckily, they were on the way to doctors anyway.
Oh,
for the baby's checkup.
Yeah.
I think it was. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Don't quote, please don't quote.
Yeah,
that's all right.
But I'm gonna, because I said it already. We're gonna pretend like that's what was
that's
happening.
The case.
So
Yeah,
we're going on the way to doctors. And obviously, they told the doctors, or did she get arrested or something? So. But anyway, long story short, they found out and they put her in a secure unit with the baby. So this baby is specifically designed for mothers who are struggling with mental health, and the very, very young babies. And they kept her in for a number of weeks, and then they did, progressive intervention work with her, things like that. And they were saying that a lot of times they put them on medicine and they do all the right things, like this, they do the therapies and all that. And they get to a point, they said in psychosis, you get to a point where you feel like, "Okay, I'm ready now.
Yeah.
I can conquer the world. I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that." And they said that's how they know you're not ready. Yeah. Because you're too excited. Ready. Yeah, you're too gung-ho about, I can chop down trees. Calm down, mate. You know what I mean? Like you're too already, you know what I mean? So, because she was already saying that, she was saying like, "Oh," this is a number of weeks after, but she was saying that she's ready. They were like, "Okay, for that reason, we're going to keep you on a bit more because you've gone from down here, from one extreme to another. Yeah. There is no middle. Yeah. So what they did is they let her have, like day release in prison. Yeah. You come out for a couple of hours.
And you go back home.
That's what it was like. And she said, "I felt like I'm in prison," so that's what I thought day release,
Yeah. That's probably what, Yeah.
And I think after a couple of weeks after that, I think then she recovered and she was fine. But they still checked her up on her like every day or every other day. And she just felt so bad, and she had to build back the trust in her husband. Yeah. Because her husband, as much as they just got married, just had a baby. Like it was very quick.
Was there no underlying with her? If that makes
I can't remember. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's literally just having a baby.
Yeah. So sometimes it can be like in your family,
trying to get back to. Yeah, maybe it's the fact that you just had a baby. Because remember, having a baby is very traumatic,
Very, your body's everything psychologically, everything.
So imagine you've just given birth. Okay, before that, you're just stable or whatever. Your hormones are just how they always have been. Then you get pregnant, and you got double of everything. And then, as the baby's growing, you get more because the baby's getting bigger and needs more from you. You're secondary to that child. Your whole body is giving everything for this child. Then you give birth to this baby,
and your
body has to then readjust. And not only that, now this foreign object that was in your body for 9 months is now not here. So hold on, what do I now do with this empty space? Do you know what I mean? So you have to readjust everything. And so sometimes I think it's just that alignment doesn't align. And then it just so I think for this lady, if I remember correctly, they were saying that there was no prior anything. She was fine 1 minute, had the baby, boom.
And then
but then they did say to her, now that you've had it the once, the next baby you have it be more likely.
Psychosis.
Yeah, postnatal psychosis.
Yeah.
Because once it's triggered, like even though you can get better from it, it's not necessarily something that will be with you lifelong. But it's it can be triggered again once you have another baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So they said to her, if you get pregnant again, the minute you get pregnant, you have to let us know. And
basically undergo therapy and drug treatment.
So yeah.
So postnatal psychosis it can be a bit of a
it's heavy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of it like labyrinth. It can be a bit of a labyrinth to try and navigate, but it's not impossible. And I think trying to have these conversations as well, because a lot of women don't amaze. So a labyrinth is a maze. So like it can be quite difficult to navigate it.
Yeah.
And I think because we don't have these conversations when women do experience these feelings, they don't necessarily know where to go to, who to speak to about it, if they should say it.
That's
Because
right.
if they say it, does that mean their child gets taken away? And if their child gets taken away, then what? So I think having these kind of conversations are necessary.
I think that's important, really important. I think I was training years and years ago, and there was a woman who was training with me, and she had a client who was pregnant.
Yeah.
She had OCD-like thoughts that were similar.
Oh, okay.
So just to kind of not confuse it with OCD or intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
Like psychosis is not only the thoughts, their actions, and you're doing things as well. Yeah.
And the hallucinations. I think it's more so the hallucinations and the delusions that kind of separate the two.
It must be so scary.
Has to be.
It must be so scary to be trapped in your own mind, thinking these things about your own baby or whatever you're thinking. Must be so scary.
Or even your own self, like not being able to trust yourself.
Yeah, with your child.
Or with yourself, is that
or
what
with yourself? Yeah. Can't trust yourself with yourself. Can't trust yourself with your child. Can't trust yourself with your partner. Like you just.
But there's places to go. There's ways to manage.
Yeah.
There's just not just a dead end.
That's definitely.
Talk and talk.
Yeah, and I think trying to be as open and honest, at least if it feels scary to do it with people external to your household, at least trying to have that conversation with your partner. It can be very helpful.
Absolutely, as long as you kind of, you know, oh God, if the relationship's on a certain level anyway.
Well, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, but I think as well, like trying to pay attention to how maybe that's something that partners can do, is trying to pay attention to how the new mother feels. If you find that she's not sleeping enough, maybe question that. If you find that, because that's one of the things that can trip up in both postnatal depression and postnatal psychosis. So if you're finding that the mum's not sleeping enough, like at least trying to encourage her to get some sleep in. At least trying to I'll take the baby for a couple of hours, I'll do the nappy change, I'll do the feed this cycle, you just try and get some rest. Ask
for help. I think when my friends had their children, they were saying that one of the things that they wish they had done more is ask for help. And then when the other friends got pregnant, they were saying to them, ask for help. Don't just try and Superwoman this whole thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's true. Even if mum, dad's in the household and other siblings or other, still ask for more help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, that's why I guess we have the parable. It takes a village to raise a child, but
it really does.
But I think maybe more so there's an impression within Western society that you got to do it alone and you can do it alone, and mums raise their kids and that's just how it should be naturally. But I think if you maybe not see your children as community children, that's probably not what I'm trying to say, but that the community can help you.
Yes.
I think that's probably the better way to try and get as much support as you need with it.
It's important.
It really is.
Yeah. It really is. Can any of you think of a time where maybe any of your friends or anybody you've had in sessions, maybe who's experienced either postnatal depression or postnatal psychosis? Maybe what you remember it was like for them.
No, I mean, the friends that I do know that, no, no.
No.
And I think even if they did, I wasn't around.
Okay.
To notice it, not in the sense that I wasn't there for them, but
maybe
when somebody has a baby, you want to give them some space to kind of just settle in,
adjust with the baby.
and so maybe in that period that they might have gone through that, and I wouldn't have known because I didn't see you because we gave you that space sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, but I know it's very real.
Yeah.
And if they did have it, or do have it, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I get that. Funny enough, no clients that I can think of that I've worked with who's had postnatal depression. Surprises me as well, because it's quite common.
It's quite common, very common.
It is. But then I'm thinking how many women go for therapy
When they have it.
I know a friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, beautiful woman. She unfortunately lost a child at 7 months, and then about 10 years later she's had a child. And this pregnancy that she had, unfortunately, was very traumatic. She had complications, nearly miscarried the child a couple of times as well. Thankfully the child survived okay. She was they had to operate on her, so she was a little bit kind of shaken after the birth. After having the child, she's a single mum, has her family to support her. I think there's the siblings and her mum to support her, but she found it a challenge going to the hospital because her child had complications and had to go to the hospital a few times, and just having that, being up and down and sorting out work, making sure she's eating, and the baby and blah 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 blah, and it was just her living with the baby, and I just felt it for her. So any which way that I could help, I would. And she comes from a similar background to ours, so there's this pride thing.
No, I'm okay.
Are you sure? That's what she'd say, God bless. Am I sure? And I said, look, I had to really sit down and look at her and say, look, I'm your friend. And the fact that I'm able to do this for you is something that I live for. Like, the fact that I'm able to help you helps me. So if you allow me to be your friend and help you, you're helping me, because before I didn't have it. You know what I mean? I didn't have the capacity or to support you mentally and financially, whatever. But now I can. Just let me do that.
Sure.
So I'd force myself a little bit on the situation and say, yep, I'm dropping you here, and yep, this is happening. Yep, that's happening. Take that. Eat some food. Boom, 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 boom. To the point where she's desensitized to it.
That's good.
And she would take the help in the end.
That's good.
She would take the help in the end, and
That's
I did say that to her. And I did have to say, actually, we come from a background that actually is very proud. We come from a background that actually black women were so strong. We are very extremely strong. Yeah. But at the end of the day, to the detriment. I'm not having that, and let's not do that. Yeah. God bless her, and she's doing really well with her son. That's absolutely brilliant. Having a little bit more support.
That's good.
From the son's father, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that is.
It's a big thing, and I think that's probably my closest experience that I've had. My mum said that she experienced it as well with one of us, and she talked about it briefly, not too much in detail, but she just remembers a certain feeling that she had that she can't describe it, but it went away after a while.
Yeah.
But I think we need to talk about this sort of thing more.
Definitely.
Because it's a type of depression, yes.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I mean, I know that mental health within our community is kind of taboo anyway, but I think definitely trying to just normalize this specific one, because I think a lot of people, I mean, being a new mother can feel quite what's the word I'm looking for? Not daunting. Well, daunting, but singular kind of activity, like it's me and my baby kind of thing. So I think that sometimes that can cause us to shut off, and definitely people that I have experienced
You're right.
postnatal depression with, they try and close themselves off
To just protect themselves, even though that's not going to help it.
Exactly. In fact, if anything, makes it worse.
It does make it worse. And it is you and your child, but actually no, it's not. It's actually not. You've actually given birth to someone for the community. Do you know what I mean?
The next whatever.
This is exactly what it is. Like, this child is coming into your sibling's life and coming into your parents' life and your extended family life. Like, we need to be sharing
Definitely
a lot more, and a bit of the responsibilities. Easy me saying that, or we saying that, not having been through it, because it's not always that easy.
Yeah.
However, we need to set up resources before we even
Go into that. Have the community around you before you.
those pillars and blueprint.
Yes. But I'm trying to. There's one.
What about you? Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's one client that I remember having. She was pregnant. I think she had. I can't remember if she had a stillbirth or a miscarriage. And she was just feeling off.
So this is the baby after that experience.
Yeah. So she just had like a miscarriage or a stillbirth. And within 6 months she was pregnant again.
Can I just say that baby's called something? I heard it the other day.
A rainbow baby.
Rainbow
baby.
Yeah.
So she hasn't had that child yet. She just got pregnant 6 months after. But you can tell she's still grieving. She still definitely has depression. I think it was a stillbirth actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
So she would have had to give birth to the baby.
She gave birth to the baby and then just.
Someone had a stillbirth.
Yeah, it really is. And I think as well, just even stuff around. I know we're doing that postnatal depression and postnatal psychosis, but even like grieving in terms of like when you lose a child, in terms of, like I said, stillbirths or stuff like that. Like that can be quite a traumatic process as well. And trying to, again, easier said than done. Trying to let some people in. Like, I don't know if you'd appreciate me saying it, but I'm going to. My uncle and his girlfriend, their first child was stillborn. In fact, I think she would be 20. I want to say 22 now, 23 maybe. She'd be in her 20s. Yeah. So when she was, I still remember although no one spoke about it, it was painful. Like you could feel the pain.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't help but think in that situation. Maybe it's because of the field I'm in now. But I can't help but feel like maybe just having people to talk to about it, even if you're not quite sure if they'll get it because they've got their kids or whatever. Because I can imagine that being like a thing. Like, well, you've got your kids, so how can you understand it? But it's like.
Or the opposite to that. I've got kids. Why would they want to talk to me
about it? Yeah, that too. It could even be that too. But I can't help but think that, like, you know, maybe that would have been a good thing. I mean, it may have happened, but I do remember. I think I was about 7 at the time, something stuff. And yeah, like I can remember being around that energy. I can remember it being very heavy. I can remember it just feeling like pain. So I think maybe from a young age I was just able to pick up on emotions, but like it was just like it just felt painful, and I kept wondering, like, I understood but I didn't understand. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? 'Cause I didn't actually understand that stillbirth means that you give birth to a baby that is just not here.
Yeah.
So, so I think even in trying to help people when they're going through that situation, as much as they'll allow you to, is definitely something that we need to make sure that we are doing.
And not only that, supporting those that struggle to get pregnant.
That too.
As well.
Yeah.
That's a difficult, you know, and those that have been told that they physically cannot
have children. That
is a grief in itself.
Definitely.
Big time.
Definitely.
But miracles come from that.
Oh, definitely.
That's true. Miracles do come from that.
Definitely.
And I think sometimes when women are told that as well, they feel like they've lost part of their identity.
Yes.
Yeah, you feel like you're not a woman.
Definitely. I've definitely heard people
told
think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard women say like, I feel less than a woman, or like, what am I even here for?
That's the one thing.
That's the one thing I should be able to do without question.
And then you think, you know, is he gonna want to be with me anymore? Like, he might want to be with somebody else, and blah blah.
This
blah.
is emotion, guys.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary. I've had that conversation. I've been like, oh, what if I can't? I know how much you want to, but what if I can't? What happens? Like,
is adoption going to be enough for you?
Yeah.
You want a surrogate?
Yeah.
Like,
do you even want to adopt?
Do you even want to adopt?
Do you want a surrogate? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it have to be from your own lineage? Does it?
Yeah.
Like,
Or do you want to go out and go and find? You know.
And that's a tough conversation to try and have.
Yeah, but you have to. Well, I chose to anyway.
Yeah, I think it's important to have these conversations.
I think maybe not enough people have that conversation with their partner. Maybe that's part of the problem. Why the wild oats get sold.
Or what happens is you guys have agreed on something very early on, and then for whatever reason, somebody's mind has changed. And then the other person still has the same idea that they had originally. Where do you go from here? Because that's not a small decision. That's a major life changing decision. So you know, sometimes that means it's the end of a relationship because you don't agree. One doesn't want a child and one does now. You know, are they wrong for changing their mind? No,
not at all.
So what happens?
No,
you know.
And I guess how's that communicated? So is that communicated? So like when there's when there's a difference in terms of like how you're feeling and how you're thinking, like is that communicated at all?
I don't know. Also, I think another thing what we don't speak about is the death of children. Like after they lived a couple of years, like, you know, like 2, 3, whatever, then they die.
Yeah.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. Do you know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah, and I always hear like you know, to bury your child is the worst
thing. It's in the wrong order, isn't it?
Yeah, I hear that so often. So I can't imagine, you know, what that feels like. Oh, it's difficult. It really is difficult.
But I think again, this isn't a conversation that we have openly as women. No. I don't think it's something that we talk about quite enough.
Yeah, it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
It's dreading to think of it ever happening to people that we love and know, much less ourselves. But these conversations need to be had.
Yeah, because it happens every single day. Every single day, someone's lost a baby, giving birth to a stillborn, just lost one, can't get pregnant,
miscarriages.
You know what I mean? Miscarriages, all of it. Every single day, every minute, every hour, every whatever.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think we don't give it enough airtime because, like, especially when you see other people celebrating their kids. How does that feel for someone who can't have kids?
Or
like,
just lost or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. And I cannot imagine what that feels like.
We've got a different podcast to do.
I think so.
Yeah.
That might have to be a call-in for people who maybe can't have kids or people who
lost
that are okay to talk about it.
Yeah,
I think so. Because
so
I could talk forever about that. I could talk forever about that.
Yeah. In good time.
We'll get there. But yes, so guys, I know that was a pretty heavy one.
That's why self-compassion and self-care is important.
Most definitely.
After these podcasts.
Most definitely.
Have a good time.
And I think anybody who is affected by these issues.
No.
Oh Lord.
I don't think it would, but if you want to,
I'll try to keep it serious.
That's why we need to laugh, innit?
We do need to laugh, can't even lie. But yeah, I think if you are affected by any of these issues, definitely try and seek some mental health support. You can message any one of us.
Yes, please.
A message through on the Instagram page, and we'll redirect you to wherever you need to go to. And we'll also try to make sure that it's somewhere that's local to you, or if you want to do stuff online, we can try and facilitate that somehow. But also, if you are affected by these issues as well, just start to comment and repost and so on and so forth, so that other people can kind of get the message and we can get a conversation going.
Absolutely.
Just so that there can be healing for, well, women. I was going to say black women, but women, because it happens to all women. So women across the world. So that's the aim for today's podcast. So, and
not excluding you guys.
We're not.
Sometimes it affects,
postnatal depression
affects you guys too.
Yeah. So we're not going to ignore you on this either, guys. So just trying to get at us in any which way you can. But yeah, we're here to support, and hopefully you enjoyed that podcast. I know it's a bit heavy. Try and do something nice for yourself. So
if you're team Akima, drink water. If you're team Rihanna, drink anything else.
If you're team Chantal, drink Hennessy. I'm joking.
Basically.
No, she's not.
I'm not joking. Well,
no, she's not.
Ray and nephews.
That's what I like it. You're right, though.
See, there you go. That's the laughter bit. So we'll see you next time on the Sweet Talks podcast, guys.
Bye.
Bye.